So Iran's current strategy in this conflict is threefold. Mobilizing their proxy militias in Lebanon and Iraq, attacking military and civilian infrastructure, including energy, oil, and supply chains across the region, and creating turmoil in global markets.
Hezbollah's decision to jump in, as they did on March 1st, is wildly unpopular, including with the Shia community. And it is a demonstration of this militia once again usurping what we would call sovereign decisions of war and peace to the detriment of the entire country.
If Lebanon is to have a better future vis-a-vis Hezbollah and vis-a-vis Israel, it lies in one institution, and that is the Lebanese Armed Forces, which did deploy in unprecedented strength following the last ceasefire, is now, as Mona notes, withdrawing. But for a stable Lebanon and a secure Lebanese-Israeli border, a Hezbollah that is no longer an independent militia force, this will all come down to the Lebanese army.
I think it is the glue that holds the country together, especially in times like what we are witnessing now with conflict and so forth. And so I do think having a more nuanced understanding of what can be expected under the current circumstances, and quite frankly, what kinds of support is required to help this partner, this very important partner.
I wanted to note in particular Spirit of America's support for the Lebanese Armed Forces, which has been significant and long-standing. I can't imagine a better investment in a more stable regional future than what Spirit of America is doing with the Lebanese Armed Forces right now. The Gulf states are not used to violent conflict. They have built their economies on the premise of ongoing stability, both for their crucial oil and petroleum-related exports, but also for the dazzling infrastructure they've built and the efforts they've made to turn the Arab side of the Gulf into a preferred site for international business.
I'm a retired Navy intelligence and intelligence community veteran, and it has long since been the belief that should Iran feel that its authoritarian power is being challenged, that they were going to respond in this way in a regional disruption strategy. So it wasn't going to be about victory. It wasn't going to be about winning. It was going to be about creating enough instability across multiple theaters to shift the focus outward from Iran and not inward towards Tehran. They're trying to expand the global footprint of their attacks in general. So when they continue to push that footprint out, it continues to push the attention away from themselves and sow instability elsewhere. And I think that's why we're seeing that non-response from the GCC as they try to remain out of that.
In my engagements with various interlocutors from the Gulf, I'm hearing a few interesting common themes. One is absolutely the anger at Iran for what Iran has done, this unjust retaliation when they made very clear that they would not allow attacks to be launched from their territory. However, they also state clearly that they're not interested in joining the fight. They are not interested in joining offensive operations with the United States and, of course, by extension, Israel against Iran. And they also note Iran is here to stay. Iran is in the region. Iran is our neighbor. So we have to figure this out.
Iran is absolutely leveraging both their state actors and non-state actors in cyber attacks, not just against U.S. interests, but in interests in the Middle East. So I think if you look at all of these things together, missile launches across the region and outside of the region to Azerbaijan and Turkey. We look at the proxy activation, the disruption in the maritime shipping lanes for both oil and supply chains at large. This is what they're doing to coordinate their strategy at once to keep everyone distracted and to keep the focus off them.
But the one thing I just want to highlight, which happened in the last 24 hours, is Iran's threats against companies like NVIDIA, Google, Amazon Web Services, etc. What that does is seek to puncture this vision that I think all of us are trying to lay down of how the Gulf has seen itself going forward. This is emblematic of these clashing visions where Iran is really lashing out and I think saying to the world, you know, if we are not going to be able to operate in this region, we're going to make it virtually impossible for others as well. The private sector and other stakeholders have always had an important role to play, and one that we probably haven't acknowledged or understood well enough. Now, I think going forward, by virtue of there being fewer options, this is the moment to see these other non-traditional stakeholders, organizations like Spirit of America or private sector companies and others who may have a vested interest, I would argue who should have a vested interest in seeing a stable and ultimately prosperous Middle East.
Spirit of America is unique, absolutely unique in the NGO space, because we are, first, we'll go where the hard stuff needs to be done, but also we align ourselves carefully with administration priorities, whatever the administration. And that provides a complementarity that no other NGO can offer. And we've seen this again uniquely in Lebanon with our support for the Lebanese armed forces, closely aligned with US government support for those armed forces. Until we sort this out, what our role in the world is, I think there is both an opportunity and a real need for Spirit of America to step forward.
If you'd like to stay connected with Spirit of America and see more about our work, please visit our website at spiritofamerica.org.